Channel 2 News at 6 starts with breaking news.
Well, as we come on the air, at least 27 people in Erie County have died following a historic blizzard that left snow and ice covering streets and homes. Tonight, search and rescue efforts continue for those who may still be stranded and have not been found 4 days after the storm hit. Meanwhile, within the last hour, driving bans have been lifted in the town and village of Hamburg, the village of Blaisdell, and town of Clarence. A travel ban is still in effect in the city of Buffalo, where alternate parking has been suspended. Cheektowaga also remains under a travel ban, and Amherst will drop to a travel advisory in less than an hour. Erie County leaders say violators, you will get a ticket. Now, even though progress is being made, many main roads remain closed. The New York State DOT says Route 400, the I-190 through Niagara County, 290 and Route 198, among others, are off limits. Part of the thruway is also closed. The I-90 from Rochester to the PA border is shut down. And as plows work to clear those roads, utility crews are working around the clock to restore power. Within the last half hour, National Grid reported more than 17,000 outages in Erie County and around 800 in Niagara County. NYSEG reports less than 150 outages in Erie County. It's a lot of information, so good evening. Thank you for joining us at 6 o'clock. I'm Claudine Ewing. As crews work to restore power, Western New Yorkers are just beginning to dig out from the blizzard, and dozens of families are coming to terms with the loss of loved ones. And we have team coverage for you tonight, from cleanup to reports of looting. We have a team of reporters on the ground, but we begin with Storm Team 2's Maria Gennaro, who is tracking more snow tonight. Maria.
Absolutely, Claudine. Not a lot of snow, so I want to put that out there. We have another 2 passes with this band, and then it is over. So let's go right to radar to show you what's happening. Not much. You can see the snow was over the north towns earlier today in a highly weakened state, and now there's really nothing to speak about. But at about 6:30 or 7 tonight, we're going to look for that band, and I'm going to pause this right here. You can see just a few little flurries over Buffalo to kind of re-energize a bit. It'll tap into Lake Erie, it'll get some energy, and it'll become a band that will move over Buffalo, produce a little bit of snow, but now the models are changing a bit, and I want to show you in just a second. Current temperatures 23 in Grand Island, 22 in the Falls. We've had some improvements as opposed to our 14 just the other day. Today we had a high of 20. We still have that winter weather advisory. It will remain in effect until tomorrow at 1 p.m. But I believe tomorrow at this time we will be totally done with the snow. Let me show you what we're expecting. Possible 4 to 8 inches of snow. And I know it sounds like a lot, but we're going to be breaking it down. And here's why. At about 6:30 or so, and I think this is going to take a little longer to set up, let's even say 7, that band will move into Buffalo. It'll tap into its energy source, which is Lake Erie, and it'll stay over Buffalo, but then quickly move down to the south towns. That's the change at about 11. It'll stay over Hamburg, Orchard Park, and West Seneca till about 3 o'clock in the morning, and then a little further south early tomorrow morning, and then back up to Buffalo in a weakened state at about 2. It continues to move north by 4, and then it's over by 6:30. We're going to cover that in far more detail. We're going to show you the snowfall amounts and what exactly we can expect. But there is a light. It's a long, dark tunnel. It's almost over. We'll be back with a full forecast in just a few. Back
All right,
to you.
Maria. We're looking forward to that. A lot of you are wondering when you will be able to get back out on the streets and the highways. Channel 2's Dave McKinley listened in on a news conference featuring the governor, the county executive, and the mayor of Buffalo today. He has the very latest on the restrictions remaining for motorists. Dave.
Well, Claudine, in the city of Buffalo, the travel ban remains, and no word on when it may be lifted. West Seneca lifted its travel ban earlier today, and Amherst is due to lift its travel ban 1 hour from now, but parking will still be banned on all town streets and roads. But even where bans have improved to advisories, the watchword from every community is no unnecessary travel. Here's an example of why. A fire crew rushing to a call only to have to stop and wait for a car in front of them. to be pushed out of the way from where it became stuck. A large number of vehicles still remain stranded where they were left during the blizzard, and even on major arterials like Genesee Street here, where there's been some headway made, perhaps a path plowed to get around those vehicles, it's still quite dicey. This is why they say they are begging travelers, please stay off the roads, even though they know frustration is mounting.
Just start doing these side streets. We the next street over from Genesee, and I'm standing on Genesee and I can see the street. If I can see the street, then y'all should be on the side streets by now. Just get out here and help us out here and try to get some of these stores open. We need food. We need all that.
It is not because we don't want to plow you out. We do want to plow you out, but given the intensity of the storm and the amount of cars that are stranded and trucks that are stranded, we've had to use those plowing resources for emergency response. As soon as we are able to move those resources to the residential streets, we will. The best thing people can do is to stay off the road so we don't have additional stranded vehicles.
And as you can see in this example, it appears there are many places that where it will be a while before anyone drives the side streets in particular. Now, Governor Hochul said today that the thruway and the major arterials around here, the expressways under state control, 190, 290, 400, 219, 33, etc. As far as those, they are going to remain shut down until further notice. And she indicated it may be hours more before they can even make a call on when they might reopen. That's it from outside here in downtown Buffalo. We'll go back into the studio with you, Claudine.
Dave, thank you for that report tonight and the update. Many roads across the area are still covered in snow tonight. That includes downtown Buffalo, where crews have been working to clear main streets. At this point, most side streets have not been touched, but that's because the city says crews are focused on major roads to make sure that emergency responders can get to those in need. And some of those cleanup and recovery efforts are being impacted tonight, though, by looting. Buffalo police say they've received several reports of stores and shops being broken into. Channel 2's Rob Hackford is outside live tonight with more on that. Rob, the mayor was pretty worked up, and I mean pretty worked up about this today.
Yeah, Claudine, the mayor called these individuals the lowest of the low. These are individuals that are going into businesses or going into stores, breaking in, taking items that the mayor said often aren't even related to survival, food and water. They're just items that these people appear to want. Buffalo Police Commissioner Joseph Gramaglia said they are shifting officers, patrol officers, to take care of these incidents with the snow emergency winding down, although still a lot of work to be done. We stopped by Rick's Sports over on Allen Street, which had its windows boarded up, was one of these businesses that was broken into. I walked along Main Street today and saw two such businesses, including a Dollar General that had its front door broken in, the glass broken, items strewn across the floor, and the door is just wide open at this point for anybody who may come by in the future. There was also an instance where our Dave McKinley was out today, was flagged down actually while a Family Dollar over on Genesee and Zenner was being looted at that moment. There's folks walking away with bags of items in their hands. Again, the mayor said these individuals are the lowest of the low, referring them to them today. Over at Camellia Meats, they also had a break-in. Their register, which had no cash in it, according to the owner, was busted open. Both the owner and an employee we spoke to, or our Dave McKinley spoke to, said they couldn't believe that this was happening after such a terrible incident.
It's not about a need.
Look, exactly.
It was a storm for one day. It's not about a need.
They're breaking in, I think, the rent-to-own. They took TV sets. What's
and the
if they're that
thing about
hungry?
it, everybody just paid for Christmas, and now Christmas is over. People ain't gonna have a job now.
They're not looting foods and medicines. They're just looting items that they want. So these aren't even people in distress. These are people that are taking advantage of a natural disaster and the suffering of many in our community to take what they want.
Yeah, Buffalo police said they have made some arrests in some of these incidents that have been widely shared on social media and around the city. They're going to be working to make more arrests in the future and just try and get the city back into a place where these incidents aren't happening and people feel safe. Reporting live in Buffalo, Rob Hackford, Channel 2 News.
Rob, thank you. As parts of Erie County begin to dig out tonight, we're starting to learn about some of the challenges that county leadership and emergency services have faced over the last few days amid this once-in-a-generation storm. 2 on your side's Andy Payton Ryan joins us from the roof tonight with what local leaders are saying. Andy.
Yeah, Claudine, and as the storm starts to settle, the heartbreaking reality is kicking in as we've just learned of 2 more deaths tonight, taking the total death total to 27 from storm-related causes, some of which coming from EMS vehicles being delayed, according to Erie County Executive Mark Pollenkart, who says the county's emergency snow hotline has been inundated with 20,000 calls over the last few days, but it hasn't all been emergency and medical requests. As Pollenkart said, the hotline has received calls requesting food delivery and asking when the driving ban will be lifted, which he says is slowing down the process of helping those in serious need. Take a listen.
But these are for serious issues, like you need dialysis and you need a ride for dialysis, or your medication, your nitroglycerin is run out and you need nitroglycerin pills. It's not for an update on the weather. It's not for when's the driving ban going to get lifted in Amherst and Buffalo. And I've heard from our call takers that those are the calls that are coming in.
The amount of stranded cars has also slowed down emergency response. Even with travel bans starting to be lifted, county leaders are urging residents in areas still under travel advisory tonight to stay patient and not to drive unless it is absolutely necessary. The county executive also reminded residents that a state of emergency is still in effect all across the county as they are expecting more snow on the way. So he's just asking for a little bit more cooperation from residents tonight to avoid any more tragedies. Claudine.
Andy, thank you for that update tonight. And as the region tries to recover, major grocery stores are starting to reopen. Within the last hour, Wegmans announced all locations in Erie and Niagara County will open tomorrow at 10 a.m. The Orchard Park Road store in West Seneca will open later in the afternoon. Most top stores are also back open. That includes every location in Niagara County and some in Erie County, including Maple Road in Amherst and Orchard Park Road in West Seneca. Erie County Executive Mark Pollenkart says the closures, although difficult, allowed the stores to regroup.
Supermarkets are considered emergency personnel. We, of course, are allowing Tops and Wegmans to get their replacement shipments in if possible. For example, all the prepared food that was probably done before the storm all has to be thrown out because it's all past its date time.
The county says it may have to go outside areas to get more food for first responders and emergency shelters. And tonight, the Buffalo Niagara International Airport also remains closed and will stay that way until at least 11 a.m. on Wednesday. It was originally supposed to reopen tomorrow. High winds and low visibility have created hazardous conditions. The NFTA says the Pittsburgh airport will be sending extra snow plowing equipment to help the crews right here in Buffalo. Next at 6, our blizzard of 2022 coverage continues with a look at state and federal resources to help with recovery efforts. And from the north towns to the south towns, we hear members of the Two on Your Side family. They're at home, they're digging out. You're going to hear from them. Stay with us.
Want to outplay, outsmart, and outlast your competition? Trellis Marketing, your advantage.
My doctor just told me I have advanced stage 4 cancer. Why wasn't it caught earlier? Who will take care of my family?
The only thing worse than learning you have cancer is learning you should have been diagnosed sooner. Should your doctor have tested you earlier? Were you denied a potential cure because your doctor failed to act? If so, you're not alone. The Porter Law Group can get you the answers you deserve. Call 833-888-LATE for a free case evaluation or visit nycancerlawyers.com.
The year-end sales event is here at Paddock Chevrolet. Stop in to take advantage of your red tag deal and drive home today in your brand new truck. Just announced 2.99% APR when purchasing an all-new 2023 Chevy Silverado. Or lease a new Silverado for just $369 a month. Or a Colorado starting at $309 a month. Paddock has new Chevy Tahoe and Suburban SUVs in stock and ready to test drive. Take advantage of these year-end deals. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Find new roads in a truck today from Paddock Chevrolet. With you for the extra mile.
Choose a school where the arts come alive, where science and technology thrive, to create something extraordinary. No matter which path you choose, GCC gives you the tools to start your next journey. Because when you choose GCC, your time is now.
Always $1,000 more for your trip.
Just great deals. This is breaking news from 2 on your side.
Well, tonight, resources from across the state are being brought to Western New York following the devastating blizzard that includes New York State Police, which shared this video of troopers assisting with search and rescue efforts along snowy streets. Another video shows an all-terrain vehicle being used to help Buffalo police find those who might still be stranded. And more help could be coming. Governor Kathy Hochul says she has been in constant communication with President Joe Biden's office, who says the White House, they are on standby. Hochul also announced an emergency disaster declaration has been sent to President Biden. Tonight, New York Senators Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand are urging the president to approve that measure. The emergency order would allow grant assistance to be made to state and local governments, as well as certain nonprofits.
I spoke to the chief of staff to President Biden on Christmas Day. They said they'll have almost an immediate turnaround for us, which I'm grateful for their interest in helping all of us be made whole after going through this. And they said if there's anything else we possibly need, they'll be there for us.
Senator Chuck Schumer says FEMA generally covers 75% of eligible costs for permanent and emergency work. Well, the South Towns is an area that has been hit hard by the blizzard and relentless snow. Storm Team 2 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hammer joins us live in Hamburg. Patrick, how is it there? Because the city really got socked.
Claudine, the South Towns did not bear the brunt of this storm, okay? Oftentimes during lake effect events, it's the South Town that gets the focus. This was a very snowy landscape. Let me tell you, Christmas Day, we got about 2.5 feet of snow here in Hamburg, Orchard Park, up towards East Aurora, Evans, and Eden. But I will say on Christmas Eve and even on Friday, it was bad here for a while, but not to the extent of Buffalo and the North Towns in terms of rescues and things like that. Hamburg has not been the epicenter for that kind of thing. Yes, we've had a fair amount of snow. Most of the snow from the blizzard came in 2 phases. On Friday morning, we got the wind and the snow like everybody else did, starting about 8 o'clock. But our heavy snow came Christmas Day when Buffalo was getting a break, right? You had some sunshine up there yesterday across the North Towns and into the city. Buffalo, or the South Towns, got it yesterday, and we all know we're not completely done, as Maria has been telling you. One final act of this odyssey is on tap for tonight and tomorrow with more snow, but it's going to be nothing like what we saw, of course, over the last couple of hours, because we don't have the wind and the serious cold, and this last round won't last all that long. Maria will talk about a big weather pattern change coming in the days ahead, and she'll have that forecast, Claudine, coming up. But live here in Hamburg, meteorologist Patrick Hammer, where it's quiet for now.
I'm glad it's quiet for you, Patrick, and nice to see you. Stay warm. Some welcome news tonight, not too far from where Patrick was. People who live in the Hoover Beach area of Hamburg are being allowed back into their homes. There was a mandatory evacuation order ahead of the storm, with fears of lakeshore flooding within the past hour. Town Emergency Manager Sean Crotty told 2 on Your Side that the area avoided major damage, and again, people are being allowed back in their homes tonight. That certainly is good news, Maria. And as we talked about, and we saw what Patrick saw, not too bad there. Here, we got socked. I know I felt it. You did. So many people still without power. Yeah. But now we got to start looking ahead, and it's a whole different ballgame.
We really do. 49.2 inches of snow for Buffalo. That was the and counting. We're almost done. What we have coming up is going to be much lighter, and it's going to move through fast. I want to start showing you the improvements we have. Right now, winds 16 miles an hour, 12 miles an hour in the falls, but look at the gusts that we have right now. We're going to go over not. So that's great. So what does fall, it's not going to be blowing and difficult to drive. I mean, 16 miles an hour, you'll still get some blowing snow, but certainly not what we just experienced. It is 20 degrees right now. That is an improvement. A couple days ago, we had a high of 14. We had a wind chill factor, 24 below zero. Right now, it feels like 11. That also not great, but it is an improvement. Still single digits in the southern tier. This is still dangerous cold, but it is an improvement over what we had just a couple days ago, and it's going to get better. Tomorrow, we're going to be knocking on the door of 30 degrees. By the time we get into Wednesday, we're going to be nearing 40, and then when we get to Thursday, we're going to be nearing 50 degrees. That does bring in some concern, especially for Buffalo, where we had nearly 49 inches of snow, nearly 50 inches of snow. You got to consider the melt. And then on top of that, when we get into the weekend, we're going to see some rain. So we're going to be watching very closely area creeks and streams. If you're prone to flooding, stay with us. We'll keep you abreast. But let's talk about this because it's nearly over. You can see just a few little light flurries just north of Buffalo. This band hasn't regenerated yet. I was thinking about 6:30, maybe 7 it will. We'll pause it right here and show you what we have. Not much, but this is the model, and it has changed some. We just heard from Patrick saying not much over Hamburg. I think that's going to change because this latest model is showing less over the city of Buffalo and more for the south towns. So here we go. If all of this holds, at about 7:30, that band starts to really generate. It taps into its source, which is Lake Erie, and then it's quickly moves by about 9:10 down south of Buffalo. We'll still get some snow, but the heaviest snow will be south over Hamburg, or just north of Hamburg, I should say, into the Buffalo south towns, Elma, Hamburg, West Seneca, Ebenezer, and that's where it's going to stay pretty much till about the early morning hours. It'll remain there. Buffalo gets a little bit of a break, 7:30 in the morning. It'll still be over the south towns, and then it's going to start to move to the north. Hamburg, you'll pick up about 3 to 5 inches of snow out of this, and then another 1 to 3 early in the morning until about noon. Then it's going to start to move back up to the north, but in a weakened state. We'll pick up another 1 to 3 inches of snow out of this, and then watch how quickly it moves up to the north. It'll be over Clearance once again, Tonawanda, which really also took a pounding at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then that's it. By about 5:30, it's over Lockport, and that's it. It's done. By about, I would say, 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow night, we are done with the snow. We can finally dig out. Wednesday, we're going to have partly sunny skies. Thursday, we'll see more in the way of cloud cover, but we're going to be mild. So here we go. We'll pick up about another maybe 4 to 8 inches of snow, maybe. With that band moving, it's going to spread it out a bit. I do think the Hamburg area, Orchard Park, you'll see the majority of it out of this last batch. So for tomorrow, snow over the south towns in the morning. It will move back to the north in the afternoon. It is over by tomorrow night. Let's take a peek at the zone forecast and what we have coming our way. Much warmer temperatures. It does come with some rain, especially on Saturday. We're going to have to watch closely for some flooding concerns. But aside from that, an improvement in our weather pattern. Dramatic. Here's a look at the south towns in the southern tier. Nothing for the southern tier as far as snow for tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday, but you will share the rain with us as we get into Saturday and Sunday. Quick break and we'll be back with more in just a moment.
Right about now is when we normally would take a look at what's happening in sports across Western New York. But with travel bans in effect and safety in mind, we turn to the North Towns tonight, where our sports director, Adam Bonini, is hunkered down.
Hi, Adam Bonini from the North French Campbell area of Amherst, where 25 to 35 inches of snow have fallen during this storm, depending upon where you live. You can see residents here digging themselves out. You get an idea of some of the banks relative to this mailbox here. Still a lot of digging out to do, a lot of cleaning up to do. And I can tell you that this particular street that we're on here, you can see it was plowed overnight, but the road's still very much snow covered, and not all of the roads in this area have been plowed. I can tell you, I've talked to neighbors and others that live in this immediate vicinity, still unable to get out of their homes, still trying to dig themselves out. Their driveways haven't been plowed yet, so still a dire set of circumstances out here in a lot of cases. Stranded vehicles on the roads as well. In fact, County Executive Mark Poloncarz had tweeted earlier today the driving ban still in effect as of this afternoon for Amherst, in large part to get some of those stranded vehicles off of the road, let the crews work, and so that emergency vehicles and services could get to the people in need here in Amherst. So the snow continuing to fall as of this afternoon, driving ban still in effect for Amherst. And on a program note, Sports Talk Live, which typically comes your way tonight, every Monday night at 7:30. We have postponed the show. We've shut it down for obvious reasons. We'll be back with you in our regularly scheduled time slot next Monday night, 7:30, live from Cincinnati ahead of the Bills and Bengals. For now, from Amherst, Adam Benini, Channel 2 News.
Adam, thank you. Stay safe, and we want all of you watching to stay safe as well. That's it for Channel 2 News at 6. Nightly News with Lester Holt is coming up next. Again, stay safe. We'll see you back here at 11.